Hi everyone and welcome back to Conversation Way. Today we're going to be fitting another part of the E92 Vibe stereo speaker upgrade kit. So this is the amp which is going to be installed in a later video. These are the subs which have already been installed into the car, and today we're going to be fitting the front component speakers. Now if you have the most basic audio system on the car, that is to say you don't have the hi-fi or the Logic 7 system, your car will not have any tweeter speaker grills on the front, on the edges of the doors. So you'll need to buy these from BMW or eBay. I think there's some aftermarket ones available as well. They can come with or without the foam backing, which I believe is for sound deadening purposes. So I've got the foams with mine as well. So we're going to get on with installing those. So let's get to it. Alright, so first thing you want to do is just get your trim tool, and starting from the edge of the door, just lever out the trim piece all the way along. It comes out quite easily, or at least mine did. Just all the way along, it will just pop out. Okay, and then that will reveal 4 screws that are just behind the trim panel. Mine only had 3. Unfortunately, one of them was missing. I assume it had been taken off before. But there are 4 behind that trim panel. I believe it's a Torx 25. The next thing you want to do is just remove the trim piece that goes over the, I suppose it's a grab handle. That just levers off fairly easily using the trim tool once again. And it will just pop off. And there's one Torx 25 at the top of that grab handle to remove. Okay, so next thing to do is really just lever the door card around the sides and on the bottom of the door card as well. And you should feel, as you're doing it, the door card just release as the clips come out of the holes in the door. So you should know when that's all released. And then when you've done that, all that will be left holding the door card onto the door are the clips on the very top. So just pull those out. I started from the inside of the door and then just work my way along. It seemed to work quite well, not too hard. And then just sort of lift the door card over the door locking pin as the last clip comes off. And that's the door card released, and you'll be greeted with a load of wires. So you've got speaker wire, door release cable as well, which comes off by just prying up that little tab at the bottom. It will just pop off. You have also got on the door card the puddle light cable as well to remove. Again, just simply disconnect it. Ambient light connection to disconnect as well. And last but not least, the electric window switch cable. And that will be the door card free. And then I'll just check if you've got any of the door card clips left sort of stuck in the door. I had one on the corner there that just needed to come off, and then obviously I'll put it back onto the door card on that little mounting point. So as you can see, there's one door card clip which is red, and there's also one which is grey, and they need to go on the same mounting points on the back of the door card as they came. So I think they're slightly different sizes compared to the white ones, because the majority of them are white. And as you can see on my car, a couple of them were missing and or sort of broken, so I just replaced those with a set from eBay. The mid-range speaker literally is secured by 3 I think it's just crosshead screws. I could be wrong, could be Torx. So just use the same screws to put the new one on. And this is the cable that's supplied with the kit. It's all fairly clearly labelled. That one's obviously for the tweeter speaker. That one goes to the main mid speaker that we just put on the back of the door card. And then these two connectors connect onto the cable adapter, which again is supplied in the kit. And then the blue plug on the end of that connects onto the original cable in the car. So here we are then, just connecting up the mid speaker. On top of the speaker, the terminals are not particularly clearly marked. There is a positive and a negative sign, but it's a little bit hard to see, so obviously just get them all the right way around. So once all that's connected, there is a bit of excess wire, but it's not very much. If you wanted to neaten things up a bit, you could by snipping off the excess, but it wasn't enough for me to worry about, so I just wrapped it around and then secured it on the back of the door card using a couple of zip ties. As you can see, I've left enough cable to allow me to plug everything in. The new tweeters are very easy to fit into the new covers. They just push in and the retaining clips keep it firmly in place. So removing the blank covers on the doors, they're a little bit reluctant to be removed. I found the best way was to pull the top of them while pushing up from the bottom, and with a little bit of force they came away. I was also surprised to see that they actually have the foam behind them already, so you don't need to buy that separately. So you can just transfer them over to the new covers, which is quite nice. There's also a little metal clip from the old cover that needs to be transferred over to the new cover. So obviously don't forget to do that. As you can see there, the bottom sort of slides into almost like a keyhole shape. And then when that's in, you can then press the top half of the cover into that hole using the metal clip, and then that should secure it into place. So here's the door card. We've got all the electrical connections connected back up. Don't do what I did and forget to connect the electric window connection. And yeah, just make sure that everything's connected before you offer the door card back up to the door. So when securing the door card back to the door, I found that if you got those top retaining clips, you can see, just get those into their respective slots on the back of the door card. And once you've done that, you can then press home all of those plastic clips back into their holes quite easily. So yeah, like I say, just pressing home that top portion of the door card, you'll be able to feel them like snap into place quite easily. I nearly trapped the tweeter speaker wire there while I was doing it, so just be careful of that. Yeah, just work your way along and make sure all those top retaining clips are snapped into place. And once that's done, you can then go around the door panel and just press home all of those plastic clips, and you'll be able to feel them snap into place. And once all that's done, get the screws back in. You've got 4 behind the long trim piece and 1 on the grab handle. On the driver's side, you don't have the grab handle, so you've just got the 4 behind the trim piece. As I said earlier, I had one of those screws missing from my car, so I replaced that screw later on. Don't need to do them too tight, just, you know, tight enough is good enough. Get the grab handle trim back on, just pushes in and snaps into position, nice and easy. And last but not least, the fingerprint magnet, that is the long trim piece. I suppose it's not a fingerprint magnet if you've got any other colour than piano black. And there we go. So there we go, guys, that's the front mid-range speakers, tweeters and the underseat subwoofers that we fitted in a previous video all done. So after we fitted that, I went through into the iDrive settings and just had a little play around with the treble and the bass settings. And I found for me that was that setting you see there was probably the best I could find. But obviously, depending on the way you like to listen to music and your own preferences, that might be different. Since this was recorded, I have connected up the amplifier that came with the kit, the Powerbox 65.4. And I have to say, although it did improve the loudness and the sound quality marginally, I don't think it improved it significantly. And also, it was fairly tricky to fit. Perhaps it's just because I'm not particularly experienced with fitting this kind of thing, but the harness it came with was quite bulky, and it was quite difficult to get it to all fit behind the iDrive unit. I think that if you have a non-iDrive car, it might be a little bit easier to fit. And also, I had trouble finding an appropriate place to mount the amplifier itself. The only place I could really find, and the place that I know other people have fitted it, is at the back of the glove box. So obviously when you open the glove box, you'd be able to see the amplifier and all the wiring coming out of it. So it's not ideal for me. So I think I'm going to run this unamped for the moment. Even with it unamped, I'm still finding that the underseat subwoofers perform very, very well. They're only 8-inch, so they're not particularly big, but they do give quite a nice punchy bass. And obviously you've got nice high notes as well with the tweeters as well. So overall, it's definitely a big improvement, even with without the amplifier. With that being said, however, I do feel that this setup is lacking the lower frequency bass notes. They just don't seem to be there, which is kind of understandable given the fairly small size of the underseat subwoofers. So the only real way to remedy that is to install a subwoofer, really a larger subwoofer, into the boot of the E92. So we're going to fit a 12-inch subwoofer, 300 or 400 watt RMS, into a custom enclosure, which is shaped specifically to fit sort of the contours of the E92 boot. So just sort of keep it as subtle as possible. Not too powerful, not to blow the doors off, but just to supply enough of the lower bass notes to make it all balance out nicely. So that's the plan going forward. So if you'd like to see a video of that, maybe fitting it, or maybe just an overview of the system when it's all done, just let us know in the comments down below and we'll get that done. And also give the video a like if you found it helpful or informative, and subscribe, because we've got a lot of interesting content coming up. We've got Lee's Mark V Golf GTI, which he's going to be doing a lot of work on, and also Hassan's Ford Focus too. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.